Watch Mike Tyson jump rope. He's shifting his weight with precision across pressure points in his feet. He's not just bouncing. And that control lets him transfer body weight lightning fast, feeling his punches. And then you look at Kobe, same mastery in his footwork, his grace in every step, inward spirals, narrow foot placement. His feet set the rhythm for everything else, the ball, his hips, his shot. And you see those same patterns in the Masai, the feet together, the narrow feet, spiraling inward. And it's just efficiency in how the body organizes from the ground up, and it's all together synchronized. I train these same spiral patterns starting with the slant board and driving various energy up through my ankles, hips, rib cage, and shoulders. And this is how we rebuild those spiraling fascial chains, which result in healthy feet spread apart, gripping the ground. Mike Tyson, his whole body is riding on that 4-foot tripod, the big toe ball outside edge. That tiny platform is enough to shift his entire body weight with power. And watch his heel. It's just skipping off the ground, never crashing down. To another video someone sent me demonstrating spiral movement. But what stands out to me, all I see in this is the weight drop back into his heel, pivoting off of it over and over, despite what it looks like. Because I pause it and I look at when he lifts onto his forefoot, all his weight is on the other side and he's constantly shifting off that heel. I don't mean to be critical. There's a time and place for heels. But if you're coming in and let's just say you're trying to get into a crossover hard, or you're playing tennis and you're doing that skid, imagine you're putting all your weight on your heel. You are taking a lot of risk versus having the sensation of that big toe metatarsal catching the ground, which is hard to grab and some of us lose it, but that's what you need to get back to. And making sure that ankle doesn't collapse. Most people think about their knee as just a hinge, forward and back, two-dimensional, simple. But the truth is the knee lives inside of a spiral fascia that wraps around it. It sits between two ball and socket joints, the hip and the ankle, both designed to rotate, absorb, redirect force in multiple directions, and the knee depends on that. And every ligament, strand of fascia spirals around it, sharing rotation through the chain, and that's how it stays safe. The cartilage inside your knee has no blood supply. It's nourished by motion, pressure, and release. When you move less, it literally dries out. So when your hips and ankles stop rotating, your knee gets stuck taking the hit. The answer isn't less movement, it's learning how to move again. And the way your body was designed to in spirals and dimensions, and that's what we try to retrain. We've been training in 2 dimensions when our bodies live in 3 dimensions. And every cue you've been taught, keep your back straight, bend your knees, don't rotate. That flattens how we move. But watch nature's best movers, athletes, animals, babies, the older marathoners, they all spiral inward with ankles rolling in, hips countering, ribs twisting, shoulders unwinding. And that inward rotation isn't collapse, it's how the body loads and finds healthy tension. It's the spring that absorbs impact and redirects force. And when you lose that spiral, you lose that connection and balance, your power, longevity, you start bracing instead of flowing. And the best movers on earth aren't stronger, they're more spiraled. Learn to move like nature, not in lines, but in waves. Because that wave doesn't stop at your joints, it travels like a whip through your whole system. Each coil stores energy and release sends it snapping forward. And that's not training, that's reconnecting to how your body was designed to move. Straight lines break and spirals endure.
That's somebody that's not standing on the 90s, as we would say. So notice these 90-degree angles that are going to present themselves when a person is standing GOATA. So when you're standing GOATA, truly standing GOATA, and this is something that we'll talk about, we'll try to feel it in our own bones, but it's also something that you can't fully fake. It has to be who you really are. Like I could take, people have asked us this with the assessment, should I stand how you want me to? Should I squat how you want me to? Or should I do what's natural? Either or. Those mistakes are coming out. You can't control all of this. You'll be doing certain things to try to fix it, and then like a tube of toothpaste, you'll squeeze here and it'll shoot over there. Your compression is still in the body. Okay, you're compressed right now. So if it doesn't get its space back through these exercises, through this time under tension, if there's no space, it's just that toothpaste getting moved up and down sort of the tube, right? It's just moving around compression. So we'll see people, I'll give you a clear example. I'll tell them, go fist width distance, second toe straight, inner ankle bone high. And then their kneecaps are pointing like east and west. Okay, they can't straighten them out even if they try, they're too tight. So even with their feet in a good position, the levels or the pre-cornering are going to expose themselves. When we say that somebody is standing on the 90s, imagine if you would, you're holding that action figure and you're holding his feet still, you're holding the head, and there's a vertical expansion to this in your back chain dominant. Okay. What I also want us to feel a little bit is I want you to be in, kind of try to put yourself in their shoes, so to speak, so you could feel how damaging it would be to sit in a WOTA position. And we see this a lot with athletes. Okay, this is what I see a lot with athletes. What this whole page says is that people basically live in a micro version of the ACL tear. They live in a micro version of the Achilles tear. So this is where, people will try to push back on GOATA, and they have a bunch of different ways that they try to do that. But we know the Achilles doesn't tear on the first inner ankle bone low step. It's too resilient to do that. The ACL is very resilient. These are they're not filler paper. They're not going to break on the first tear. But the athlete, this is the Travis Hunter thing. This is the, all these athletes that you're seeing us in our coaches predict, is because all you have to do is look for inner ankle bone low. You have to look for the knee end behavior. The worse it is, the higher risk, right? If I was the Jaguars, there's not a chance I'm trading my picks for Travis Hunter. Oh, you think he's not a great athlete? You think he's not explosive? No, absolutely not. That'd be silly. But what I do see is what you're not seeing is that's a Lamborghini with bad rotation. That's a Lamborghini with problems in the engine. And so, yes, it could be awesome, and it will have flashes of boom, 0 to 60, no doubt. But given enough revolutions, which is the reality of 7 days a week of football over the course of what we would like to see 10 years, guess what? Something's going to give. It's in the soccer world, it's in the basketball world, it's in all these different worlds, obviously. So it's a prediction. All right, it's a prediction that eventually that inner ankle bone low is going to catch up to you. Now, think about the other thing about this is once you get through the thick of it, once you sink the brain back to that pattern, there's nothing saying that you have to lose the gains that you get. So like sometimes with like weight training, as any athlete in the room knows, you go do a weight training program, you bulk up in the off season. The second that you start to walk away from those weight numbers, you just dwindle, like all your gains can be gone like that. Can it be gone like that, right? You have to keep lifting those weights over and over again at that point. And then what happens? You eventually go into breakdown. What we're trying to get people to see with the recode is that what's one thing that's slick about it is it's also tied to your gait cycle. So by changing their walk through the recode, it's already auto saving itself because all those walking reps they're all GOATA now. All they have to do to add a little element of extra autosave is resting postures. So then theoretically, as somebody gets through this, if their goal was just to become more GOATA in their movement, they may see themselves doing less and less of the recode as they get more and more GOATA. So as long as they keep their walk GOATA and use the ground just routinely, periodically, not religiously. I don't think you have to sell your house, live in a teepee in a loincloth. But I do think just every now and again, get back to the ground. And, if you're feeling a little tight, use some child rockers. My point being, the gains that you get at GOATA theoretically are way easier to maintenance than the traditional fitness goals that you would, be searching for, let's say, in a weight training program. And the base level of GOATA recode is going to have strength involved with it. Yeah, I think you'll be faster. Yeah, I think you'll be stronger. That's relative, of course, to how much speed training in plyometrics and things like that. Like people try to argue that GOATA doesn't make you more athletic. Well, it depends on what you're doing. It depends on where you're at. It depends on what else you're doing. It depends on your goals. It's most certainly a catalyst to all those things, pain and performance. By decreasing pain, you increase performance. Athleticism is relative.